What is going on, everybody? Jumbo Thick here, back with more Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. This is our home campaign, The Rise of the Forsaken. This is the Warhammer Fantasy 4th edition rules and rule set. I am joined by the Unfortunate Fellowship. Of course, I will be your GM for tonight, Mr. Jumbo Thick. And of course, we have Jumbo Smooth, Doobie 209, and Pierce Galactic with us. If you care to introduce yourself, boys.
Hello everyone, I am Jumbo Smooth. I'll be playing the role of Marius Wolf this evening. I am a pugilist under the career of pit fighter. I'm engaged to be married to the lovely Sarah. I have a daughter named Priscilla who hates me.
She does.
An absentee father.
There is that.
Yep. But I'm rich in friends, even though I'm not rich in coin.
Oh,
so that's Marius Wolf.
That's Marius and Matthew right there.
Yep.
How about Mr. Doobie?
What's going on, guys and gals? You know, I play Seamus McGreedy, the now bounty hunter, who is rich in coin, and that's about it.
Hell yes!
I can't wait to see who I murdered in my dreamscape.
In your absence? Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, that will be good.
Mr. Galactic.
Friends, that's me, Mr. Pierce Galactic. I play Bracketin Bonneau, shining example of what a Bretonian noble is.
Indeed.
An artist, a writer,
a
man who's just had a really, really restful day at the brothel.
Yes. So restful.
And excited to have his friends bring his book back to him.
Yes, of course. Of course. This is fantastic. All right. Well, let's get into it, boys, because I'm excited. I'm ready to roll. I know you guys are. We left on one hell of a cliffhanger. So, last we left off, the Fellowship has found themselves in dire straits in the humble mining town of Sealburg. There have been many interesting and possibly terrible things that have happened in town. Each of our members of the Fellowship has had a few setbacks, we'll call them, a few interesting notes of intriguement in town that may have caught their attention and set them on some troubling paths. First of all, we had Marius Wolf, who stumbled upon the rather mysterious disappearance of Father Leechter's body from the Garden of Moor, and all of the many leads that he has been given, and tracked down one or two so far. And he's been set on this path by Father Horst to figure out where the body has gone, and to do so very, very discreetly. And so far, he has been discreet. We also had Mr. McCready, who managed to confront, or at least have a face-to-face encounter with one Three Fingers, the infamous raider that has been living outside of Sealburg for quite some time at this point, and apparently knows Seamus very, very well. And Marius as well. So there is that. And of course, that is a very interesting note of intriguement for you, Mr. Seamus, as you may or may not have a rather significant bounty on said person that may need to be collected. We also had Mr. Bonneau, who at some point wrote a very interesting piece of literature involving a very detailed account of the previous adventure in the lost hold of Carrick Zorn. Including,
it will be a bestseller.
It very well may be, including all of the demon books, and of course, no names were substituted whatsoever. Very detailed accounts of all parties involved, including demons, of course, and then also the Foul Ratman. Upon the completion of his first draft, well, his probably final draft for Bracketin, he need not only write more than one draft, and was on his way to possibly send it off to Nuln to a printer to a publishing house to be distributed around the empire, and of course grow the tales of Bracketin the Bold, not just in the empire, but throughout the world. But unfortunately, he didn't make it far out of his house, as he was nabbed in an alley, almost beaten to death, and his prized book was stolen from him. After hearing about the contents of said book, the rest of the fellowship decided they must track it down immediately. And through a series of unfortunate events involving a back alley brawl and the almost attempted assassination of Bracketin in a tub, you have tracked down the manuscript as it's changed through several hands and is now in the possession of one Mr. Gold, whom has taken up a rather fortified residence at the Golden Tonics, where he has employed several ogres as well as many human bodyguards to protect him in this moment of possible tribulation that he finds himself in. Bracketin was left at the Silk Canary to recover from his grievous wounds and, of course, his exhaustion. Probably not the greatest idea, as you left Bracketin the Bold in a house of pleasure and debauchery, and he has partaken in all of it. And probably has not gotten as much rest as he should have. But Mr. Seamus and Marius had made it to the Golden Tonics through some very good rolls and some good role play, I might add. And Mr. Gold essentially offered you the manuscript in return for 3 favors. The favors were a signature of one Bracketin Benoit, because he knows that you both have ties to Mr. Benoit. Obviously from the manuscript he has in his possession, because he has in fact read said manuscript. He also required a task from Mr. MacCready, and that he wants to meet, or at least he wants to see face to face Three Fingers. And he's offered you quite the bounty if you do so alive. Do you remember what the bounty was?
No.
I think it was 20. Was it 20 gold pieces?
Thank you, Marius Wolf, for remembering how much the bounty was for Mr. McCready.
I'm a good
here.
bounty hunter.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, I was too busy writing down all of the ogres that were in that room, sizing them up.
Sizing them up. Well, 20 gold pieces if you can bring him Three Fingers alive. That was his deal with you, Mr. McCready. And then for Marius, it seemed like not that hard of a task, which is kind of interesting, as he needs you to win a fight. No matter what, he needs you to win a fight in the fighting pits tonight. Which is unusual, because usually in the past he's asked you to throw fights, and you haven't. So this is very out of character for Mr. Gold. And there was, while he didn't seem any less slimy and crafty as usual, you did get a little bit of insight into him, as I believe you guys made some checks, and he did make mention that he may or may not be in the business of acquiring new friends, and you 3 may in fact be on the payroll someday. Who knows? Who knows where this is going to lead? I do, because
God help us.
not Bracketin. Bracketin's still in the Silk Canary. As Marius and Seamus were leaving the essentially opium den that is in the back of the Golden Tonics, you succumb to the odors and vapors that are just wafting around this environment, as you would have noticed that all of the guards and all of the bouncer-like individuals had very thick black masks over their faces. Probably for a reason. And the 2 of you succumbed to some kind of insane nightmare LSD trip. And when you both awoke from said trip, you were no longer in Golden Tonics, but were standing outside Gold's, his main shop. Marius, you had blood all over your hands. Yes.
Marius is fully decked out in dwarven plate.
He is not. He is not. That is a lie. That is not true.
Are you sure? I just listened to the last session.
Positive.
I'm pretty sure.
No,
I absolutely.
no, that's a lie.
I have a feeling.
Aw.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Seamus. Thank you.
Damn it! you
Seamus's scabbard was also slick with blood. More than likely his blade is as well. And something happened while you were under the influence. Just in that moment, as you were standing out there trying to figure out what happened, Seamus, a figure from your past walked out of the darkness. A tall, slender woman with long hair, dark eyes, a kind of somewhat tan expression, and a large, long bow slung across her back. Miss Angelica Schuster stepped out of the shadows and simply looked at you and sighed and said, "Seamus, what have you done?" Have I missed anything, guys? Is there anything important before we just jump into the action?
You did kind of mention as Mr. Gold that he had said something to the effect of, he was looking for new friends because he had upset some old ones or something.
Something along that sort, yes.
Yeah. So
I guess
just for the fans.
Guess we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right. Well, let's jump right into it. So, Seamus, Angelica steps out of the shadows, says this to you, directed towards you. And you remember her. She's tall, and she looks a little bit older than you remember, but that's probably because significant time passed since the last time you've seen her. She all but disappeared after the slaying of Tarkag. And you have not seen her since, really. You saw her briefly before your second adventure that you started with Mr. Wolf.
Am I still dreaming? Is there a way for me to tell?
Go ahead and give me an intelligence test.
52 out of 41.
You have no idea. No idea what is this person real? Are you still hallucinating? No way to know. Your head hurts like hell. I will say that. You as well, Marius. It's pounding. But you think this person is there. Maybe. Maybe not.
I see
Marius
Marius
here.
Marius is. You can see that Marius is staring at her. Yes.
It's just some kind of dream. Marius, how did we get here?
And
Why isn't Angelica here?
Unless we're sharing dreams now, Seamus. I don't think it's a dream.
she takes a few steps closer out of more into the lamplight that is illuminating the front of Gold's shop. And as she gets closer, Seamus, you can smell the woods, the smell of smoke on her clothing, which I will say she's wearing the same cloak, but she has a nice but used set of, it looks like a type of leather armor about her person. Her boots kind of clop on the cobbles near Gold's. She approaches, and she has a bit of a worried expression on her face. She takes the hood back, revealing her long hair, and sweeps it to the side and just... Well, Seamus, you do make things interesting.
What have I done?
Well, I've been in town for a little while. I didn't know if I should approach you. You seemed busy. And I had things to do with the governor. Tasks that needed to be looked after. And one of them involved speaking with Mr. Velkin. I do believe you're quite well acquainted.
I am.
Well, I was sent to fetch you, Seamus.
How do I know this is real? I don't. Last time I was in a shop. What am I doing out here?
Okay, and with you saying that, let me roll for this. She takes a few steps closer, Seamus, like getting really in your personal space at this moment. And are you wearing your mask?
Probably, yeah, I think I was wearing it when we went in.
She reaches up and grabs a hold of the mask, and you can feel her touching it. And she pulls it up away from your face to where she can see your eyes, unless you stop her.
No.
Okay. And she looks you in the eyes, holding your face. And you can see this look of just dismay as she sees the horrid scarring of your face, of the vicious wounds that you've taken. She doesn't look disgusted, but she looks saddened. I see you've had a hard time, Seamus. And then she squints a little bit and she says, have you been... Surely not, Seamus. You don't do that kind of thing. And she puts your mask back and takes a few steps back and then gets a little bit close to Marius, looking at his eyes. Were the two of you... And then she just kind of lets the question hang there.
We were at Gold's, and there was some type of smoke in the air. We became we succumbed to its influence at some point.
I don't think that was mere smoke,
there?
Marius.
I tend to agree.
If I had...
We ended up here.
Well, if I had any guessing about me, I'd say you were, in fact, under the effects of a certain interesting drug of a sort.
Do you know what it's called?
I believe, if judging by your appearance, and she specifically motions towards your eyes, and if you were to look at each other, you'd notice that your eyes are just bloodshot, and your noses are running, but it's blood running out of your noses.
It is.
I believe the locals, or at least the rather unsavory lot that I have heard of, call this spit.
The hell is spit?
It's some kind of fluid extracted from leeches in the darker parts of the Empire. It has interesting hallucinogenic qualities.
Son of a bitch.
It seems that you have been in some very interesting places, Seamus. That does
Marius, why are your hands
explain
bloody?
one thing, though. I picked you up. I spotted you, at least, outside of, I believe it's called the Golden Tonic. You were leaving. And you were kind of, both of you, acting rather sporadic. There was blood all over Mr. Wolf's hands, dripping into the ground. And Seamus, your blade was unsheathed. The two of you were acting rather strange, and I felt I'd best not approach you in that moment, just to make sure what was going on. And something happened. Some figures tried to close around you about a block from the tonics, and you rather quickly killed them all. Left them in the street. And then you began stumbling this way.
Do I see my horse anywhere?
Nope.
By chance?
Your horse is not here.
These individuals. Did you get a look at who they were?
I mean, it has been, and if it is the dead of night at this point, like it's dark. There's only lamplight and torchlight essentially illuminating most of Sealburg at this point. Most respectable people are not out and about. I didn't get a rather detailed look at the figures, but I did notice a strange smell on one of them. He smelled like an animal, wet. When I approached the bodies you left behind, I noticed that it wasn't quite blood that smattered the cobbles and the walls nearby. It was black. And the smell was it was horrible. Perhaps they were mutants, I don't know. I quickly tried to follow you as best I could, but I lost you in these back alleys. Just now found you again.
Do you know how long ago this was?
Probably, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes maybe?
Maybe the bodies are still there, Marius. We should go back.
I can take you, if you wish.
Unfortunately, I have a fight.
Well, I don't want to keep you, Marius, but I was sent to fetch Mr. Seamus.
By whom? The governor?
Actually, Velkin sent me, on behalf of the governor, of course, but I have good news for you, Seamus.
Aye.
Velkin thinks he's found Three Fingers. He wants you to lead the raid.
Why does he want me to lead it?
He says that, you have, how did he put it? Interesting prestige about yourself that may dismay those that he keeps with him from engaging in open warfare, as there apparently are many in this Three Fingers raiding party. And though Velkin has considerable manpower, he believes he's going to need the headsman to take his due.
You can let him know. I'll ride out there and meet him, but I can't go right now.
That's fine. The raid
Trying matters to attend to.
The raid is actually going to be midday tomorrow.
Midday.
Just
I can be there.
Meet him at the fort outside of town. I believe you know it quite well. And we will head out from there. And she just kind of looks at you, Seamus, staring at you deeply.
Thanks for rescuing us or watching over us. It's good to see you again.
It's good to see you as well.
And
I mean, if you want to look at the body, Seamus, I could take you.
I'd rather look for my horse left in front of that shop. If you don't recall seeing it.
It was in front of the shop. I actually took it to the stables for you. That's partly why it took me a little bit longer to find you.
Marius, you want to go look at the bodies, or are you going in here for this fight?
If it's already late, I don't think I have much more time. I don't think I have much of an option.
I can always take
I
you,
have a
Seamus.
feeling we both. I have a feeling we both know who the bodies are. Question:
Yes.
Did Angelica? Did you see me use my hands in this fight, or did I use a pick?
It was quite quick. I'm not sure, honestly. It was quick and it was brutal, I might add. You were like a crazed animal. I heard you howl afterwards.
Did I use... can I look at myself and are my tattoos any brighter?
Your tattoos?
Or not my tattoo, my linings or my
markings. The kind of lines that are the kind of interesting patterns that were very lightly in your skin.
Mm-hmm.
No, they don't appear to be brighter.
Okay.
And then you kind of look for a moment longer, and maybe a few places. It seems like the line's a little bit bolder. Maybe. Could just be a trick of the light.
Oh, boy. You said it's about 12 o'clock?
Yeah, it's like, it's late, yes. And you know for a fact that the fight's only going for so long, and at a certain time, the fight's going to be called if you're not there.
All right. Sorry, Seamus. I don't think I can go with you. On a timetable.
That's fine, Marius. I'm gonna go check, make sure you know what is still with the horse, and then I'll come back and meet you.
Very well.
Okay, we're splitting the party 3 ways. I love it, guys.
Yeah, 3 ways.
Love it, and we're gonna cut away from you guys. What?
Last time, my horse was parked pretty close by to Gold's, as I remember.
It was.
Unless there's multiple stables.
There is a stable nearby. That is the stables. It is very close to Mr. Gold's.
All right, just checking. I'm not going too far, from.
You're not going too far. Not too far. But we're splitting the party right now, and I love it. And we're gonna flip away from you two, and we are going to take a peek on Mr. Binot. It is late, Bracketin. The smell of hot flesh and alcohol is just rampant in this room that you're lying in.
Smells like when I was at university.
Oh, God. You're damp. So damp with sweat. I need you to make me an endurance chest, Bracketin.
Oh. All right. And it's... All right, let me see here.
I believe you're currently at a minus 30.
That is correct. Let me see. So I needed to hit a 52. So I needed to hit 22, but I rolled 46.
Okay. Do you want to roll again?
I do. Let's use one of those points now. All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I rolled a 6.
Okay. All right, Bracketin, you do not get another point of exhaustion. Lucky you, because you would have been just a feeble man laying there in bed, unable to move. Which is a good thing that you can move. You sit up, and the Bretonian woman that you had taken upstairs very limply falls to the side on this bed that has seen vigorous use this day and night.
Oh, yes.
And you...
Oh, yes.
You begin to put on some of your kind of like the equivalent of like a robe that they have for you around here, and you put your robe on.
It's very nice, very fine material.
And what would you like to do, Mr. Bonneau?
Oh, my, what time is it? Where is Marius? And Seamus as well. The girl's asleep on the bed?
Oh, yeah, she's asleep, completely naked.
Oh, of course she's naked. I have clean clothes. Do they wash my clothes?
Your clothes have been washed and pressed, essentially. They have been the equivalent of pressed, like they have been laundered very finely, and they smell of lavender as you pick them up.
All the comforts of my true home in Bretonia. This is how a noble should be treated. This place is great. I'll get dressed.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over to the table at the desk, and I'm gonna pick up the copious amounts of notes that I wrote above all the sex play that happened all day long.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, we gotta get those all together. Make sure I have the names right. Perfect. Put those in my bag.
Yeah, of course. Notes for later.
I go over and I slightly caress the cheek of the fair maiden. Well, maiden no more. And
oh, Lord.
Good God.
we will, with a pep in our step. We're a little tired still, but some pep in our step since we got some true Bretonian treatment.
Mm-hmm.
Open the door and look for our way down to wander into the sitting room or the parlor.
Okay.
And hang out.
There are some stairs down. You're on like a second floor level.
Okay.
You go around a banister, and there are a lot of women just walking around, mostly nude,
Oh, Marcella.
and in various states of distress. And there actually are quite a few men present, even at this late hour.
Oh, Frederick, I see you there.
But yeah, Frederick, your neighbor, your married neighbor, he's apparently paying a visit here. You pass by several people that you probably would have recognized in and out. A few guards, in fact, are here. Looks like they're off duty, and they are putting their coin to good use. The bar looks relatively empty. Most of the booths on the side are taken. And there's a stool with your name on it. And Mr. Johann is behind the bar once again.
Excellent. I will make my way over there. And
Okay.
Get settled up on my stool.
All right. You settle up on your favorite stool?
Johann, is it? Yes. Please.
And Johann
Someone to
turns
touch my
around. And Johann's pretty stout guy. Probably 5'9", 5'10". He's got some decent muscle on him. The clothing he's wearing is rather form-fitting, which is unusual for most men in town. It's a little kind of strange, in fact. But apparently all of the barkeeps that you've seen here, and of course some of what you are assuming are bouncers, also wear similar kind of garb. Must be some kind of exotic trend, who knows. But puts down the glass he's proverbially polishing every time you see him, and looks up and makes eye contact with you. Mr. Bonneau. I see you've had quite the day.
Oh, yes, my friend.
And night, and he gives you a bit of a wink.
Oh, you know me, my friend. You have read my work.
Of course I have, Bracketin. You talk about it every time you come visit me.
Would you do a Do me a favor, though. I need something to quench my parched throat. It has been a long night, and I must say I am quite peaked. Perhaps some wine from my home?
Would you like the dark or the red?
Let us have the red.
Okay. And he has 2 bottles that you can see that he's produced. The one that he referred to as the dark is actually the bottle looks almost black. Whatever liquid inside is very, very dark. And then the red, of course, is almost a normal kind of wine, sweet red. And he uncorks it and begins pouring you a glass. Puts it before you. And as he does, he also places a receipt next to the glass.
I don't even notice the receipt.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up the glass. Take a delicate sip at first.
Pinky out.
Oh
Yes.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Delicate sip at first. I then pull it away and I look at it and I make kind of a face that in Bretonia would be a gesture for like, this is cheap table wine. And I'm like, a fair vintage, thank you. And I have another sip, and I place it down on the counter, on the bar, and I then kind of shift on my stool to the side, and so I'm gazing at the door, or what I hope maybe in that direction, and just sipping it. No acknowledgement of any piece of paper on the bar.
Okay, all right. And you can just feel him staring at you, Bracketin. And Johann, you see, you don't see anything. Suddenly, where you're glancing towards the door, and you see that there are a few bouncers standing by the door. And one of them looks over in your direction and appears to look past you, kind of nods his head, and then he slaps the guy next to him. Guy was kind of about to doze off, it looks like, and 2 rather large men stand up and begin walking in your direction, Bracketin.
Oh, excellent. Manservants. Perhaps they can find Marius for me. Excellent.
And these 2 men reach you, and as they do, one of them puts a hand on your shoulder.
I knock it off.
Knock it off, and he lets you do it, and they're both blank faced, and then Johann at this point, Mr. Bonneau, you've had quite the day here in the Canary.
Yes, I must say I am so fortunate that you have treated me so.
Indeed, and of course we would not wish to lose you as a customer, and then he taps the receipt. I'm afraid you will need to produce some coin, Mr. Bonneau, if you wish to stay in the Canary this night.
But of course, let me see this thing. And I grab it, pick it up, and then pull it up where I can read it.
You grab it up, and there is an itemized list of all of the graphic sexual favors that you've been granted this day, as well as a list of alcohol and various other services, including
I will put this in one of my manuscripts,
including a full laundering list of what all was cleaned out of your clothes and how. There's also a surcharge for some kind of perfume. It's ridiculous. Regardless, there is a total at the bottom, and it sums up to around 18 gold pieces.
Gold. I think Marius says that with hold on here. Wait a second. This seems so steep.
It's the same it's always been.
So I'm so steep.
Mr. Bonneau.
If the Bretonian were to explain that, it's It is too much money. That is what it means. I don't. You must explain yourself. Do you not know who I am? And I'm starting to get a little riled up.
Oh, we know who you are.
Small man, kind of steam building.
But no.
See the,
But no, Mr. Bracketin, I need to see some coin now, or we're going to have a very more interesting conversation shortly.
Well, I will tell you, you will have the best conversation, because I am the most interesting man you ever meet. But I do not have my coin on me. My manservant, Marius, has it. I don't know if you remember when the two gentlemen that came, well, I guess Seamus is already gone, but the gentleman who came in with me, the big man, the hulking one, I know, he looked a little lowbrow looking, but the brute. But he is the one. My manservant has my purse. So we must, perhaps you can send your servants here. I gesture to the two bouncers to go and fetch him for me. And then we can get this settled.
And
although I must say,
Johan at this point is just looking at the two men, and he kind of gives a nod. And they both grab you under the shoulder, Bracketin, under each shoulder, and pick you up off the stool like a small child, and begin marching you to a room behind the counter. Are you going to attempt to resist?
Oh, no.
Player question here.
Yes.
Why does Bracketin have to get beaten almost to death every session, bro?
Well, it depends on the choices
session.
you make.
Oh my god! All right, I know. Well, I'm actually optimistic that's not what's going to happen. Bracketin is. We'll just play him. So I just got picked up, and we were marching. I'm being carried.
Yes, you're being carried
behind the bar into a
behind
back
the bar, and there's a room in the back that you've never seen before.
Entrance to this. Does the entrance to the room look like the entrances to all the great rooms with all the sex, like nice?
It
and
does
stuff like that?
actually.
Or does it look like a stock room? It does.
It does. It actually looks like one of the playful rooms that you've seen in other places.
Oh, gentlemen, thank you. How did you know I was so exhausted? I appreciate you carrying me. Thank you.
And Johan steps
Let's just
forward.
go. We can sort this all out.
Opens the door, and as soon as the door opens, it's suddenly, this is no playful room, Bracketin. There are tables, and there are whips, and there are chains, and there are flails, and all instruments of torture. As you are...
I squirm. I'm squirming. I'm squirming.
Go ahead.
Like a little 2-year-old.
Go ahead and give me a strength check, Bracketin.
Okay, what kind of check?
A strength check at -30.
All right, come on, give me 10 to win. Oh, I rolled a 13, but I needed 10.
Okay.
We're gonna let that ride. We'll go. We're not gonna beat that.
All right. You and they just without breaking a sweat, easily hold on to you and march you through the door. And Johan quickly, boom, closes it behind them. And that's where we're going to leave Mr. Beno.
Oh, okay.
So, as that happens, let's do a flash over to Seamus MacLeod. Seamus, Angelica is leading you to the spot. Are you going to find your horse first, or are you going to the spot where all the corpses were?
I'm going to the horse. And
Okay.
I'm going back.
She walks with you. She walks with you at kind of a slow pace, and she is making a little bit of small talk, just kind of how you've been, kind of things. And after a few minutes, you make it to the stables. You take a peek in, Seamus, and the stable boy is there. He is sleeping, of course, but you kind of just take a quick glance and you easily spot your horse. She is a unique horse at this point.
Is it the same stable boy from last time?
It is. It's the same one, but he is
Oh,
completely asleep.
That Skaven didn't kill him.
Did not kill him,
I
apparently.
was about to say, yeah.
I'm gonna walk over to my horse and make sure all my prized possessions are there.
Okay. You walk over to your horse. Are you doing this stealthily or?
No.
Okay.
Just walking in.
Okay. You walk in. You take a few steps in, and then your foot crunches on something. And as you do, the stable boy kind of shoots up, and then sees you and immediately reaches behind him and grabs a hold of a rather large crossbow
Oh.
and and then points it in your direction.
Oh, easy now, little Tim.
Oh. And then
I'm a
it takes him a moment, and then he shifts the crossbow over to Angel, who's standing in the doorway, and she just kind of doesn't even seem like she's really all that threatened whatsoever. Put that down, son, before the headsman says otherwise. And he kind of, and his jaw kind of falls open, and you see the color begin to drain out of his face. He's like, "Oh, I am so sorry, Mr. McCready. My apologies, sir. My apologies. This woman brought your horse here. I've been taking very good care of it." And he waddles over to where your horse is and kind of opens the stall and shows you. Look, I even cleaned her. She had some, well, I'm pretty sure it was blood. I hope it was blood at least. And I cleaned her up for you, and I even gave her some new shoes. And he points towards her feet, where he has in fact reshoed her since the last time you've rode her. And it looks like he's been taking good care of her in your absence.
Nice.
It hasn't even been
Is
that
my
long,
stuff
is
there?
the thing. And yes,
Yes.
all of your possessions are there.
All right. I will toss him a silver.
Okay, and he catches it. Oh, so you're not angry?
No. Just keep up what you're doing, wee man.
Oh, thank you, good sir, thank you. Oh man, I thought you'd be upset about the. And he kind of shuts his mouth real quick, looks a little wide-eyed, and begins kind of walking off.
What happened? What did he do?
He doesn't say anything, but
Upset.
you notice
Upset about what?
You notice Bracketin. Yeah, after seeing that, and you kind of glance over at your horse, and you notice that the kind of wrapping that you wrap your Thunderer in to kind of keep it hidden is not wrapped the same way that it was. It's still concealed, but it looks like somebody has done their best effort to rewrap it.
Kind of look it over, make sure no one messed with it, you know.
So
no
do
one
you
tried to-
you walk back over to it?
Yes.
Yeah, you walk over to it, and you begin to unwrap it and look at it?
Yeah.
Just right there in the stable? Okay.
I mean, I'll try to have like cover it with my back, you know. So
Yeah.
they can't
And
see.
you unwrap it, and Angelica looks a little like her eyes are kind of drifting, trying to look over your shoulder. She can't quite, and she's still standing in the doorway, and you're several feet into this room at this point, into this like stable. And she calls out, "What do you got there, Seamus?"
Just something I picked up out in the woods.
Oh,
It's very dear to me.
oh, I see. Should I be jealous? She gives a little bit of a smirk.
No better than that longbow you've got.
Well, you should be jealous of this, as she kind of caresses the bow itself.
Yes, it's a nice bow, quite better than crossbow I have over here.
And at this point, you glance over at the you're looking over the weapon, and it looks fine. You do notice right around the rim of the barrel, looks like there's some dirt, and you kind of inspect it closer, and it looks like somebody dropped the gun into the dirt. There's no damage. You kind of look it over. It's clean. It's fine, but it looks like someone dropped it.
Clean it off, wrap it back up.
Yeah, you wrap it back up the way you normally wrap it, so it can be unwrapped very quickly and drawn. And are you taking the horse, or are you going to leave Rachel here for the night?
I'm going to take... Well, I will leave it there and then take it when I leave Marius' fight.
All right, so you're leaving the Thunderer here as well?
Yes, I'm going to give the little man another silver.
Okay,
sure,
you toss him another silver, and as he's shakily, like it hits his hand and then falls to the ground. He's like, and then he picks it up again. Thank you, Mr. McCready.
If anybody touches that horse, I'm gonna snap your little neck.
Oh, and you just hear a little bit of. He almost shits himself at the mention of snapping his neck. Yes, sir.
All right. Good night.
I won't sleep a wink as you walk out of the stable, leaving this disheveled stable boy in the to watch over your horse. Angelica kind of chuckles as you walk out. Was that necessary?
Sometimes those things are necessary.
Oh, I was talking about the silver. And you just keep she keeps leading you to the to where the bodies were, and a few minutes pass. And then eventually she leads you to a part of the street which is not lit at all. It appears that the lanterns, the lamps that were supposed to be lit nearby, are doused. And upon closer inspection, the one that you come up first, you notice that the glass is cracked. And it looks like somebody smashed this lantern. And probably the rest of them. Go ahead and give me a perception check, Seamus.
That is a 7 out of 51.
7 out of 51. Oh, very good. So Seamus, you're glancing around as you see that, and then you see it looks like signs of a scuffle. There's something on the ground and on the wall nearby. And Angel's in front of you, and she kind of looks around and she looks a little puzzled. I swear it was right here. And you can see that there's signs of a struggle. And the kind of dirt that kind of was on the cobbles here has been disturbed. And upon closer inspection, you look closer, and there in fact is black blood clinging to the walls and the floor. But no bodies.
That's as I figured.
Did the watch come already?
Not likely. You're aware of the rat infestation in this town.
Well, yes, there's a fair few of rats I've seen.
The kind of rats that walk on 2 feet.
Oh, what fairy tales have you been feeding these people, Seamus? The underfolk? Really? That's just a fairy tale.
Angelica, you can believe what you want, but I have no reason to lie to you.
No, you don't. And she kind of looks at you a little bit more seriously, like maybe there's a reason why you're saying this. No, you don't. But I assure you, it was here.
I've seen this before. the bodies always disappear anytime you kill one.
Well, it's rather disturbing. Perhaps they were eaten. And as she's giggling, she's looking around, and like a big-ass rat crawls out of some little pocket in one of the walls and kind of scuttles past. She's, oh! And flinches away from it.
Well, maybe you can ride along back to Velkin and tell him this information I've given you. Maybe he'll think twice about pushing into this raid. I have a feeling there's going to be some type of event happening with these rodents in this city.
Well, Seamus, I regardless of what you think's going to happen in town, we're going to raid Three Fingers tomorrow.
Right.
You
say so.
Hope that you'll be with us.
I'll do my best. I have to get my friend Marius. I'll make my way out to you. At noon, you say?
Around that time, yes.
Right. I'll be there.
Okay. And should I perhaps just tell Velkin in the morning, perhaps maybe me and you can catch up someplace quiet?
Another time, maybe.
Oh.
I've got matters I need to attend to.
Oh, I see. Very well then, and I'll let Velkin know that you hopefully will be there. And she begins walking away. Seamus, rebuffed by the headsman.
Seamus is going to make his way to Mr. Gold's shop.
Okay. And we are going to cut away from you on your trek back. And we are cutting back to Marius, as Seamus has just left you in this moment. And you are walking through the doors of Gold's. You open the door, step inside. The pawn shop is just as it was not too long ago, last time you were here. The kind of skittish younger man is behind the counter still. And he's looking around, and as you step through the door, his eyes light up for a second. Oh, did you find him? And he's like conspiratorially whispering as you approach.
I'm here for a fight, lad.
Oh, but
show me through the door.
You didn't tell him anything, right? You didn't tell him I sent you?
Tell him what, lad? The door.
Yes, Mr. Wolf. And he sits up and he motions to one of the other hands, the other helpers in the shop, to take over the main register here. And he steps behind the counter and leads you to the all familiar door hidden behind the curtain. The large ogre guards are still present on each side of the door. They both are eating something, just proverbially eating, and it looks disgusting and viscous and very meaty as they peel it away with their teeth as you step by. And you descend the stairs. At this point, the boy doesn't follow you down the stairs. He just allows you to accompany. He accompanies you to the guards, so they wouldn't be disturbed by your presence, though they probably wouldn't anyway.
Are these the same guards that were guarding Mr. Gold earlier?
No, they are not. They are a different set of guards. Mr. Gold has several. If you're taking count, he has many ogres in his employ. It may be concerning.
Apparently.
So,
is this a common thing?
I will say this.
Thing in the Empire?
I will say it is not uncommon for ogre bodyguards. It is uncommon for someone to have so many, though. This is not usual because they're expensive. It's very expensive to feed ogres because that's usually what they take their payment in. They do take their payment in gold, but they take a hefty portion of payment in food. And Mr. Gold is feeding it from your count at least 6 ogres right now. Who knows how many more? But you descend the stairs, and the fighting pit in all of its glory is before you. There is quite the crowd present as well. Most of the usual customers and a few rough and tumble looking people that you haven't seen before. There's a couple fighters that looks like they've just gotten the shit beat out of them, and they are in kind of an area where people go to get patched up, and there's kind of a pit fighter, somewhat pseudo doctor down here. Somebody that has some kind of medical training, and it's an older gentleman that has a crooked nose, and maybe he was a soldier at some point. You don't know. Whatever it is, his type of medical craft is very barbaric.
He's like a cut man.
He's like a cut man, basically, yes. And he's attending somebody currently. Somebody whose arm, it looks like, is like snapped at a weird angle, and he kind of brutally snaps it back into place. And the man, before passing out, and he wraps it up, and he just kind of looks up at you, Marius, and kind of gives you a nod, like, respect. And then you step by, and the announcer...
Not back.
Yeah. Of course you do. Of course you nod back.
Yeah.
And the smaller man that you know to be the announcer comes scrabbling up. There you are. Hi, Mr. Wolf, we've been waiting on you. I've been trying to stall them as much as I can. You're the main event. Where have you been? Don't answer that. Get your shit off. Get in the ring. No shirt, no shoes.
D-robe. Yeah.
Fight Club rules.
Yep.
This time, however, you have been asked by the person that you're kind of taking your gear off with. There is kind of an area where you can leave your gear. It's a bit of a locker room. Mm-hmm. There's no locks on any of these like doors, but you can at least put your stuff in there.
Okay.
You are asked by the man at the door that's going to escort you into the ring that this time around you're going bare knuckles for this fight. So no knuckle dusters.
Okay.
All right, you take them off. Do you slip them into your pants, or do you put them in with the rest of your belongings?
I won't Ric Flair it. I'll put it into the.
Yeah.
I'll put it into the locker.
Okay, yeah, you put the knuckle dusters in the locker, and you're escorted out to the ring. Is there anything you do before you get ready for a fight, or anything? Anything in particular?
Marius might say a tad prayer to the Sigmar.
Okay. As one of the faithful, that's understandable.
But other than that, probably just walk into the ring.
All right. Bare-chested, just rippling muscle across Marius Wolf. Usually it's very concealed by the clothes that are about to be torn off of him in his adventures. But it's just for all to see in this moment as he steps forward. As you step forward, you hear the announcer in the distance as you're approaching. We all know him, Marius the Drab, and you're and people part the way as you walk forward, and the pit is before you. Are you just going to jump down, or are you going to climb down?
Probably just jump down.
Hell yes, you jump down, and boom, into the sand everywhere, and the people. Marius! And it starts to build into a crescendo, and the announcer's like, hey, all right. And this very special night, for the chance to challenge the current champion of the Sealberg Pits, a colossal man, the Tzar of the Ring, And as he says that, on the opposite side of you, this crowd parts, and you're, "Wah!" People screaming. And you hear some deeper voices scream towards the back. And this gargantuan man, he's probably about 7 feet tall, and he is heavily muscled, comes walking out of the crowd. Scars litter his body, and he's huge. He's extremely pale, and he has this long, matted beard, and he's missing a eye. And he, boom, boom, jumps into the ring before you. And judging by the look of him, you're kind of looking him up and down. Go ahead and give me this would probably be a history check. Do you have any history skills? Or knowledge-based skills?
Lore stuff?
Yeah, you have any lore stuff? What do you have?
I do have lore, but I don't think it regards this.
Okay. What lore do you have?
I have lore geology.
That's not going to help. so no.
That's all I've got.
In that case, just make me an intelligence test.
Okay. That's a 39 out of 36, so failure.
Okay, do you want to make it a success? You can use 1 fortune point to make it a success.
No.
Okay, no. So you don't recognize... You can tell he's foreign. He's massive.
Yeah.
And he, in one hand, he's got these huge meaty paws. In one hand, he's got a large, looks like... a large bottle of some kind gripped in his just meat hooks, and he churns it up, and as he does, you can just smell this thick alcohol, almost gasoline smell wafting off of him as he and then throws it out into the crowd, smashes on someone's head, falls backwards. And he just bellows out, "Bah! You little man, you face the Tzar." I need you to roll the initiative, Marius.
Oh boy, all right. Let's see. It's D10, right?
It's a D10 plus your initiative bonus. It's been a while since we've done this. It's been a few episodes, in fact, since we've actually had initiative.
It will be 12.
That's pretty damn good. All right, Marius.
Improve my initiative. Well done.
Marius, you are first up before the Tzar. He bellows out that, and you can tell his muscles are tensing like he's ready to spring. Before that, the announcer goes... yes, indeed, a fight for the ages! Let there be blood! And you know that's the sign the fight should start. So you're first up if you so choose, or do you want him to go first? The choice is yours.
I'll probably go first. I'm gonna try to run up and punch him.
Okay, you run up towards him. Go ahead and make me an attack.
Okay. That's an 8 out of 61.
Damn! So the first punch, boom! You hit him right across the jaw. How much damage is that from you?
That is, it's just success and strength, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that would be 11.
11 wounds. Woof! Vicious hook. Boom! And he head jerks to the side. Do you want to make your offhand?
Yes.
Okay. You got a minus 20 because it's your offhand, but go ahead.
Okay. Do I get a plus 10 for my first hit?
Yeah, I'll give that to you. So just a minus 10.
Okay. That's good. That's a 24 out of 51.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, the second punch, looks like you're going for like a kind of gut, kind of chest area, and as you do, he knocks your hand aside with one of his meaty paws. And now it's his turn, Marius, as you've lost your momentum.
All right.
And he
Yeah.
and I need you to defend yourself in some way, Marius.
All right. Guess gonna use my fists.
Okay.
My melee basic. That's a 4. My melee brawler. 4 out of 61.
Okay. And let's see here. Oh, Jesus. He moves in. He flinches back for a headbutt, Marius, and you can see him. And then he brings it forward, right to connect with your skull. And as you do, you, not fearing this colossal giant of a man, just kind of grit your teeth and you meet him halfway. Heads collide. Boom! And as you do, the man stumbles back, grasping his head. I critically failed on his attack, and he has taken damage from attacking you as you've split open his forehead, and there's just a drop of blood. And then he looks pissed. And then he's going to move in for a haymaker. So defend yourself one more time.
Okay. That's a 5 out of 71.
And he. Was this a dodge or was this a block?
This is a block.
Okay, so you just put your guard up and boom, catch his big forearm, and it moves you a little bit, but you're Marius Wolf, and you push it to the side. And before you take your turn, Marius, you feel a little you feel a pain in the back of your neck. I need you to make me an endurance test at -30, Marius.
Oh, God. I just get sleep darted. I rolled an 11 out of 65.
Critical success. Okay. So you feel just a little. You take one wound.
Okay.
You lose your momentum, but nothing happens. You're
damn it.
trying not to break something. You could feel something tagged you in the back of your neck. You're not sure what it is.
Do I feel like a needle? Okay, I don't know what it is.
I mean, in the moment, unless you want to spend an action to check, you're not sure. It wasn't like a knife. Like it doesn't feel like you've got like a dagger sticking out of your back or anything.
Yeah.
But you feel a pain in your neck. You're but it's your turn now.
All right. Roll an attack again. That is... I'm going to have to re-roll that one. That was a critical fail. 15 out of 61.
Okay. And let's see, 15. Okay. You go in for throw another wild punch out, and as you do, you actually hit him. How much damage?
That would be... that'd be 11. I forgot to add Strike Mighty Blow to my first attack. So...
Okay.
11.
Okay. Another 11. Whew, man, that's a lot. It's a lot. This is a big dude, though. Big guy. And you tag him again. This kind of his right kind of shoulder area, and he takes it and he flinches back. Do you want to make your second attack against him?
No, I'm gonna hold off and defend.
Okay. All right. So you have your momentum going for you as you flinch back, and now it's his turn, and he a little more disheveled than he was before. He's looking a little worse for wear. Go ahead and defend yourself, Marius.
Okay. That's a 55 out of 71.
Okay. Let's see here. Yep. Technically we tied, Marius.
Oh shit.
Because I also got a critical hit, but you have more success levels. So I'm just going to say it cancels out. And it looks like this vicious haymaker is aimed towards your jaw. And you come to meet it, and as you do, you both kind of flinch at the last second, and you easily block aside what probably would have been a very crippling blow. And at the same time, he moves his body to some kind of crippling gut shot. You were going to land on him. And you both kind of pace again. And he's going to go in for his second attack, though. He's going to try to go for another swing.
Question, do I get a momentum for that? Or do I lose momentum? Or is that one momentum? Or do I just stay at one momentum?
Stay at one for now. Because you both had criticals. I don't know. That's kind of a weird one.
That's cool.
We'll just stay at one.
That's fine.
So yeah, go ahead and defend yourself one more time.
That is going to be a 19 out of 71.
Jesus Christ! God damn it! I'm not going to hit you. He goes to throw another shot, and it looks like it's aimed at your head, and you easily just take it on the elbow and just slide it over the top of your head. And he, it's the end of his turn. Before your turn starts again, Marius, you feel another. This time in the back of your thigh. Make me another endurance check. Yeah. This time at minus 40.
Minus 40? Fuck
yep.
me. Alright, let's see. Oh boy. That's an 8 out of 20. You said minus 40?
Yep.
25. 8 out of 25.
8 out of 25. Okay. Marius, you're the proud owner of one poison condition.
Oh.
And you feel, and it feels hot and burning. It is now your turn, Marius.
Okay. Can I use a resolve to get away the
You can.
poison?
You take one wound from the damage of the needle sticking into you. Yeah. Okay. You take another wound from the poison, and then you can use your resolve point to kind of dust it away. And as soon as it goes away, you have 1 point of exhaustion.
Yeah. All right.
So you feel a little bit of, you're like, you're breathing heavy.
All right. I'm gonna
go ahead and
roll an attack.
Make your attack.
I'm gonna re-roll that attack.
Okay, re-roll it.
It was pretty bad. All right, that's a little bit better. That's gonna be a 21 out of 51.
Okay. I don't know if it was just because you stumbled or what just happened. Your focus was shifted, and as you do, let's see here. Right arm. All right, let me roll on my table here real quick.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah, I rolled low. All right. You go to throw a punch. Which arm do you use, your right or your left?
Right.
Okay, that's the one that gets hurt. You throw a punch with your right arm, and as you do, the big man dodges to the side and just brings an elbow right across your own, and you feel a crunch. You only take 9 wounds.
Oof. All right.
Solid 9 wounds, because this is a critical hit.
Yep.
And your right arm is useless for the next 6 rounds. As you, it doesn't feel broken, but it's just kind of numb, and you're not able to get your full movement in it with it.
All right. Well, I'll just defend then.
Okay, so now you're back to defending, and it is now the big man's turn. I need you to defend yourself, Marius.
All right. That's a 31 out of 51.
Okay, you block it aside with your one good hand, and his eyes light up when he sees you use just one hand because your other one's kind of held closely towards your body. Go ahead and defend yourself one more time, Marius.
All right. That is going to be a 23 out of 61.
Oh, once again, slap it away. Barely slap it away this time. It gets close.
Ooh.
Close to the gut. He's going in, and you kind of barely manage to move your body in a way to knock the blow astray. And before your turn, Marius,
Bitch.
you feel another. I need you to make me an endurance test, this time at -50, as the implements entering your body are wearing you down.
Apparently. Yeah, well, that's not too bad. Still a failure, I'm assuming, because it's a 6 out of 15.
Okay, all right. You take 1 poison condition.
All
As you
right.
feel more hot pain, and you... The strain is mounting, Marius. If only somebody was in the crowd to help you right now. Oh, he's not here. Damn it.
Good thing that gun's safe.
You had to make sure his gun was safe.
Let's see. Let's see here.
It is now
All
your
right, is it my
turn,
turn?
Marius.
Can I use a resolve?
You can use a resolve. You're basically going to take 2 wounds. You take 1 wound from the needle, and then you take another wound from the poison before you make it go away.
Okay.
What are you looking like?
I am still up, but
Okay.
not a ton of health.
Not a ton. Okay.
No.
All right.
Then I take another point of exhaustion, I assume.
Yep, you take another point of exhaustion, so you're 2 exhaustion now.
All right. Swing for the fences. Going
Okay,
for it.
go ahead and make me a swing.
Well, that's a 2 out of 41.
Okay, you you feel Jesus, man. You lash out, and this is now. We'll say you're at a -20 with your left hand, in addition to your -20.
Oh, if that's the case, then I'm at that's 2 out of 21.
Okay,
yeah,
it's still a hit though.
Sure.
How much? I need to know how much damage. This is important because this is to the wire here.
Yeah, that would be 2, 6. Wait, 6 damage plus 2. Be 9 damage.
How do you do this, Marius Wolf? As you put out the Tzar of the ring.
I guess I'd just like to kind of do like a jump up onto his like right knee,
Oh yeah.
and then just with my left elbow just take it up and just drive it down on top of his head
Ooh, yes.
and just bring him down.
So you bring it up and you with your one good arm that you have, the other one's still held in tight, real close, and boom! And as you do, you just see the light in his eye. Just let me roll a critical hit for you because this is gonna be bad. Oh yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. I'm assuming you weren't holding back, so
Probably not. No, he's probably pretty upset about what was going on.
okay. As the elbow comes down, you actually hit the top of his head, and his head is driven into your knee, and you feel his mouth splinter across your kneecap, and several teeth go flying, and blood just gushes everywhere. And then he falls backwards, boom, into the sand, rocking the arena. And as he does, you see everyone in the crowd, huh? go quiet, and then and that's where we're going to shift away from you, Marius Wolf.
Oh, gee.
And we're going to shift back to Mr. Benoit. Monsieur Benoit.
Man, that was an awesome fight. Sorry,
Yeah, it was. It got
I was
pretty
on the edge
intense.
of my seat. I was so like, oh man, that was so good.
So, Monsieur Benoit, you are in a dark room. There is some candlelight, and there are implements of torture everywhere. The two large men have manhandled you and put you across what looks like a chair that has restraints built into it. And they smash you down and have restrained both of your arms.
Oof.
And you're struggling in vain. The men are still present. Would you like to attempt to do anything?
Is it just the two bouncer guys?
It's as far as you can tell, it's just the two without a check. If you want to give me a check, you can give me a check.
I do want to check. I want to
Okay,
see if I can figure out
that
if there's
perception
anybody else in
check.
there. With a negative 30.
Yep.
All right, so I was. Oh my gosh! So hit it right on the money. I needed a 51, and I rolled a 51.
Okay. All right. So you, and this is with your hearing, because your sight would not be that good. So with your hearing, you can hear the sounds of merrymaking and whatnot outside of the door still. Looks like the party has not stopped because you were dragged back here. But you do not hear anyone else inside this room other than the two bouncers that are currently moving over to a table and are setting it up next to your chair. One of them peels off and begins searching you up and down and finds the coin purse on your person, very violently pulls it off of you. And is there any money in this coin purse, Bracketin?
There's a single gold.
There's a single gold.
in there.
He opens it and pulls out the one gold and nods to the other guy. And you hear a gruff voice from the bouncer holding the gold piece. Well, Mr. Benoit, I hope there's more where this came from.
Do not worry. Have you summoned my manservant Marius yet? He has my money. I promise you.
I've heard
I
that
am
too
a man
many
of great
times.
reputation.
And the other one has, at this point, moved over to what looks like a fireplace and has stoked it and is beginning to get the fire lit.
Oh, you do not need to do that, sir. I am warm enough. But thank you.
Okay. He gets the fire fully lit and he places a iron implement tip first into the fire and just leaves it there.
Gentlemen, I do not understand this. Do you not know who I am? I am Bracketin, but no, do you know how much publicity I am going to give your establishment?
Oh,
I have, in my stay here with my delights and debaucheries, I have made many copious notes. If you were to go to one of your rooms right now, you would find one of my books. That, I'm telling you, my name here is good. I demand you release me.
go ahead and give me a charm roll, Bracketin. At minus 30. You should still be pretty good at this.
We're going to use a fortune point.
Okay, then.
So, minus 30. I got 2. No, let me see. I got 32 out of 50.
Okay. Okay, the two of them kind of, the one that's stoking the fire doesn't say anything. He's just still stoking it, leaving the iron implement in there. And he glances up at the other one that's nearby, and it looks like he's the one that's messing with the table, and he's setting out implements on the table. Implements of probably some kind of torture. And the one at the table kind of glances back at you. Mr. Bonneau, I would love to let you go, but, see, we take payment rather serious here at the Canary. Those that can't pay in a different way.
But sir, I will pay. I'm just waiting for my manservant.
Well, until he gets here, perhaps we can keep you company.
Oh, God.
And the big guy grabs a hold of looks like some kind of large carving knife.
I shriek.
You shriek, and he begins kind of rubbing
like
it.
a Homer Simpson shriek.
Yes, and he begins kind of sharpening it on like a stone. And some time passes. You're screaming and probably crying at this point. Matter of fact, go ahead and give me a cool test, Bracketin. We'll see how well Bracketin keeps his literal cool in this moment.
Oh, that's probably not good. 49, and I needed to get negative 30, right? So.
Yep.
Oh man, I had a 52, 22. I had to get 22. I rolled 49.
Okay, so Bracketin is
like I'm
losing
doing well.
his shit. You're the proud owner of the feared condition right now, so you are literally afraid. You can't go anywhere because you're strapped to a chair. So you're probably sweating profusely, even more so than earlier. And the guy sharpening the knife puts the knife down, moves over to you, and then just very aggressively begins ripping your robe away, exposing your flesh.
What are you doing? This
And after a few
finest thing I've seen
moments,
since I came here.
after a few moments, you're naked. You're completely naked in this chair. Just tatters of this robe gleaming off of you. And
Look, sir, I've played this game before, but I'm just not in the mood right now. It's just been an exhausting night.
oh, you played this game, have you? And the one at the fire pulls
know.
the iron brand out of the fire at this point and turns around and begins approaching you, Bracketin. Would you like to do anything, Bracketin? As he's closing the distance.
Pulling my arms, I'm pleading. I continue. No, sir, I don't understand why. Your name is known throughout the Empire because of my work.
Give me
Please
one
don't.
more charm test, Bracketin. Minus 30 still.
All right. I'm going to use that last fortune point.
Okay, use it. Use it.
12.
Okay, how many
12
successes
out
is it?
of 50. So that would be 3.8. 3 successes.
All right. You, as you're saying this, the brand gets inches from your face and it just wavers there. You feel the heat. You begin to sweat even more.
I'm
And you
crying.
close your eyes as you peek out that last little
right.
bit of how great you're going to make this place. And just as that happens, the man stops. And you hear the door open slowly. And you hear the padding of soft feet enter the room. I believe that will be enough, don't you? And you open your eyes. You glance over, and there is a woman that has walked down into this room. Go ahead and give me a
Madame?
perception check, because it's not very well lit in this room.
Okay. This is not the hearing, so this is going to be a vision.
Yeah, this
perception
is
check.
visual, so you're still at minus 30, so we'll see what
Okay.
you glean from this.
Oh, that's 80. So I fail.
Okay, all right. So You see, it's definitely a woman, judging by the voice, and it definitely has a bit of an accent. You can't quite...
Is it an accent I recognize?
It is very similar. It may be Bretonian, but it sounds a little different. It's kind of odd. The woman has a veil over her face, and she's in a state of undress, but she's still covered, very exotically, very sensually covered, with the kind of yellow kind of silk, and her skin is like a pure alabaster white. It looks flawless and beautiful. What bits you can see reflected in the glow of the low light here in this room. And the big man stops and then pulls away from you, Bracketin. And the little feet pad closer, and both of the men, I'm sorry, madame. We did not know you would be visiting down here. See, and he squeamishly takes a few steps away from this rather small woman. She's only about maybe 5'5", 5'6", and this is a large man, and he almost knocks over the table with the implements on it as he stumbles away. The other one is kind of moves back to the fireplace and quickly puts the brand back into the fire, and is just kind of standing towards the back of the wall, glancing back at the exchange happening here.
I have an extremely arrogant look on my face as I'm staring at the two.
You're currently,
yeah,
you're still
staring
afraid,
at
Bracketin. You failed your cool test. So,
you're right. I'm sorry. You're right.
So you're still not all the way there yet, but we'll get to it. But yes, you probably do stare at this exchange that's happening, and the madame, as you referred to, stands before you. And you see these, even in as the firelight dances across her back, so you're seeing her form and shadow. You can see that she has these like piercing green, almost emerald eyes, and long black silky hair that is dangling about her shoulders underneath this veil. Monsieur Benoit, I apologize for my servant's treatment of you.
Oh, madame, to one such as a beauty such as yours, no apology is necessary. Peasants, sometimes they act too much.
Indeed, do they not? And she holds out her hand, instinctively, almost like for you to take it, but then she, of course, Jacques. And she calls back towards one of the men, and he quickly comes forward and begins unbuckling your hands, unstrapping your hands from the chair. Gets them unstrapped, and then he pulls away. And she holds out her hand again. Bracketin.
I hop off the chair, and I...
You get up out of the chair?
Take your hand. I do. I step up.
You move to get up out of the chair. And her foot gets planted on your chest. I need you to make me an opposed strength chest, Bracketin.
All right. Oh, guess what? I had to hit 10, and I rolled a 10.
Okay.
I did not expect to beat that.
You go to sit up, and as the foot plants on your chest, you are immediately driven back into the chair with such force that were it not bolted to the ground, you would have probably went through the chair and then into the wall. I'm
out of breath then?
Oh, you're very much out of breath, and you only take 7 wounds.
I'm at a negative number now.
Okay. So Bracketin, you're currently, she wasn't trying to hurt you too bad, unless she may have held back. You're currently incapacitated, laying there in the chair. You're not unconscious yet, but you're getting close. And as she does, as you're in the chair now, of no free will of your own, and she brings the hand to your lips, and then places her hand against your lips, and then pulls it back. Yes, that was much better. See that he does not expire before we can have a conversation. And that's where we're going to take our first break, boys.